together up on the next degree, where I'm wrapped inside of you, you are wrapped inside of me.
I think one more minute. Trying to go live.
Anyone, no matter where we may be, everyone, everywhere's part of one beautiful soul. And anyway, we're never that far away. Every road, everywhere runs to one beautiful goal. So close your eyes, everyone count to 10. Run away, hide and seek. We're heading for home free. Deep inside, love is brighter than the sun. Here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What a day. Everyone's gonna come out to play, out of their hideaway. How do you do? Any game, ready to follow you anywhere. Whatever you wanna play, I'll play it too. So close your eyes, everyone count to 10. Run away, hide and seek. We're heading for home free. Deep inside, love is brighter than the sun. Here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Close your eyes, everyone count to 10. Run away, hide and seek. We're heading for home free. Deep inside, love is brighter than the sun. Here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Give me your heart, I'll give you my heart. You play your part, and I'll play my.
Okay. Hi guys. So for now, this is us. Facebook is giving me a hard time. They're not allowing me for some reason to share. So I'm gonna have to work with whatever I have, which is for now the recording. But hello to everyone here. I'm very happy that you were able to join, whether in listening, whether in live. This is our first meeting, which is very exciting for me. I've worked with a variety of groups, with women, mostly Russian speaking, but this is a good experience. So the purpose of this very first meeting was to just kind of start by sharing a little bit about myself, sharing a little bit about what men are, what women are, kind of help us build a certain foundation of understanding to that we can use in our own personal lives and relationship. And first of all, understand where issues are coming from, where challenges are arising, where is this misconception, misunderstanding, friction is coming from in our relationship. If you're going to have through this meeting any type of questions, comments, feel free to unmute yourself and ask. I want it to be as interactive, as useful, as beneficial for you as possible. Really, I'm going with the intention for this to be able to add, even if something very little, but if you can come out of this with a little greater understanding and feeling of where you are and how to improve your relationship, then I feel like I've done my job. So a little bit about me. I've been married since 2000, technically 2013. The chuppah, the ketubah was 2014. 2 kids. You guys specifically on the call already know me, so little introduction is needed. Shortly into the marriage, we found that things really started bubbling to the surface, because we didn't do a very good job. We didn't know how building a solid foundation in the relationship. Very quickly, we found out that signs started showing up of where exactly we needed to focus on. Disagreements, character flaws, everything started coming to the surface. This is where we, specifically me, I decided that I needed to figure this out for myself. I needed to understand what is this whole relationship thing is. What is a man? What is a woman? How do we interact together? Personally, I was a big fan of psychology always. I studied psychology. This was something that I was drawn to. Unfortunately, in college, very quickly, I understood that the psychology that is taught there is so outdated. It's like an analog system in a digital world. It's like it doesn't catch up with the times. So I was very disappointed with that. Then I worked in sales, where I was introduced to positive psychology and Anthony Robbins and all of these big guys, gurus. The Secret, some of you may have heard about. And that opened up a whole new can of worms, a whole new aspect, a whole new side into the human nature that even in psychology we didn't cover before. And so I had a good 2, 3, 4 years delving into, positive psychology and reading books and affirmation and everything from here until I was doing everything. And I remember being even more frustrated because after 3, 4 years of reading and writing and doing all of the chanting and God knows what else, I realized that my life has been worse than before. Nothing has changed. I was more depressed. That was before I met my wife. And suddenly none of that made sense anymore. It was like almost like a false promise, a fool's gold. Like it shined. It was so hopeful. And then it was worthless. And so I started delving more into some ancient writings and reading books from Judaism, and things started making sense to me. Writings that spoke about human nature, writings that talked about how a person becomes to be who he is, what shapes him, how he grows, and what influences him to be what he wants to be, where he has power and where he doesn't have power. And that set me on a very interesting journey of exploration, where I was exposed to a whole new level of science that seemed to be passed down for thousands of years from one teacher to another, that gave you a glimpse into the very essence of human nature. And so from that, I found myself gathering groups. First, it was physical meetups where, we had 10, 15, 20 people. They all enjoyed what I had to say. I learned a lot from them. Certain things came up that were very interesting. And so today I'm working with groups of men and groups of women and couples individually who want to build a solid foundation. Because once you have a solid foundation, you can build on top of that. Like with a building, If you build a very solid foundation, you can build skyscrapers. But the moment you try to build skyscrapers without a foundation, you find out that 2-3 levels in, it begins to crumble. And so this is all it is. Relationships are built on the combination of two people. And things seem great before we get serious, before we get married, before we move in together, because we show the best version of ourselves. It just naturally like that. We want to, we're taught to show the best version of ourselves, to show, to be attractive and to be attracted to the other person. And then the moment you're comfortable, you see the full gamma of your partner sees the full gamma of you. Things suddenly aren't as appealing. Friction appears, friction arises. Problems that you didn't think should exist or were even remotely possible suddenly are a reality in your life. And maybe it's not in your life, but generally from what I've seen, challenges come up that leave a couple, and this was my experience as well, speechless. You just don't know what to do with it. You try as best as you can based on the information that is available to you, but you can't. So I can talk a lot and I can go into the nitty-gritty of the science behind it and really how a man is made up and a woman is made up. And I think that was the purpose of the call. But since it's just the three of us for now, maybe I'm open to requests. If you guys wanted to direct me and focus on anything in particular, I want to give you this opportunity right now.
Thank you. Thank you, Alex. I'm very confused, and I don't know if you can talk about that. It's a mess if we give unconditional love to a man. You wrote something about that in Facebook, and I was like shocked. The truth is that I feel very confused about everything. I was married 24 years. Then I have 7 years divorce and I'm starting a new relation, 8 months, but I don't feel any more a new relation. I feel like if we were in an old relation, not with problems, maybe because we share some ideals and all that, but I feel confused. I realize all what I did before was wrong, but I don't know what to do now. So
what did you do wrong in the past that you
well,
realized?
in my first marriage, my husband wasn't too active and he didn't work that much. So even if we put a business with my family, my we live very, very, very good, but I was in charge of all the important issues of finance. And even if he was the manager, I was always behind solving problems. And well, finally, we bankrupt. And I realized in therapy before, and I confirmed it, that he was married with me for the social economical situation. So when we bankrupt, he just I try 5 years to go to therapy and to psychology, nothing functioned. So when I asked him the divorce, immediately he said, "Where should I sign?" And we got divorced 7 years ago. It's okay. But now I don't know which is my position. Um, about the money, about even the relation, because in the other relation I have like the control, I suppose.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand.
Oh, thank
So
you.
let me,
Sorry,
yeah.
I talked too
So,
much.
no, very good. It's very good. It's a very good question. And I do want to clarify. So I want to distinguish. We all know what ego is, right? It's the negativity of the human nature. So women have a very particular ego, and men have a very particular ego. And so ego can be also good and bad, but in its deteriorating form, a male ego looks like this. Everything I receive is owed to me. So I don't have a calculation like a woman would, for example, that everything I receive is something to be paid for. Like I can't just receive a gift for free. It's almost like you don't feel comfortable unless you have developed a deep enough relationship with a person where that type of exchange is okay. For a man with a very big ego, you can shower him with presents. You can give him all the love in the world. He's going to be like, great, I'm the king of the world. I must have done something right. I don't know what it is, but if she's giving me all that stuff, I must be really cool, really awesome. And so you're complaining like, why are you sitting and not doing anything? But he's like, but you're okay with it. Yeah, you're complaining, but like you keep doing what you're doing. And so apparently you're okay with it, because men don't understand language. We understand action. Because you can tell me you're not happy, but if you keep doing what you're doing, then I look at your actions and apparently you're okay with it. Women's ego looks a little bit different. Women's ego is concealed. What does it mean concealed? It's hidden. I'm going to invest into you in hopes that you will realize how much I'm investing into you and invest back into me. I scratch your back, you scratch my back. And friendships between women usually work like that. You see that you have friends, in your exchange and friendship is very much that. It's like, I don't want to say transactional because that's not the right word, but there is mutual investment in the relationship. And the moment you feel that it's not there, you just stop. The friendship almost begins to die off a little bit. If only one side invests in the relationship, tries to keep in touch, does the gift process and seeing how the other person is, but the other person doesn't reciprocate, that friendship isn't going to last long, right? Just between women. But with a man, there's a feeling, it's like, I'm going to invest in him and he's going to realize how amazing I am and show me that love back. But that doesn't work because the male ego, like we said, the more you invest, the more awesome I must be. And that's the miscommunication at the very core of it. So then what do we do, right? What do we do? So for a woman, it is important to analyze herself because a lot of things are hidden, and what seems to be the proper intention on the surface, like I'm investing in that person because I care for him. When you do enough digging underneath, it's not really that I care for him, it's that I hope that it's going to awaken him to act back towards me. Where instead your focus should be on yourself. As a woman, you have very powerful energetic forces. And what that means is, with your presence, without saying anything to anybody, just being there in a good mood, everybody around you is happy and is in a good mood. In a bad mood, everybody around you is miserable. Without doing or saying anything, just the energy around you, you're giving it off. So your number one priority is, how do I feel? And it's not egoistic. It feels egoistic. It feels like I shouldn't care for myself. I should care for others first. And that has a lot to do with our upbringing, the way we were brought up with parents and teachers and our environment that kind of taught us that we can be appreciated as women only if we do something right. Like if we're a good student, then we can be appreciated. If we help at home, then we can be appreciated. If we're quiet and not too out of place, then we're appreciated for it. You're a good girl, right? Good boy. What it does is it teaches us that we don't really have a value or a right to exist unless for the comfort or convenience for somebody else. And then we get that sustenance, that support. And so you want to create for yourself an environment where there is a direct connection between how you feel and how another person feels. So you're not keeping yourself in a positive mood for yourself, you're doing it for others. What does that mean in practice? It means if somebody does something that makes you upset, you either communicate or you express you just crossed the line. Like, this is where the line is. I don't appreciate that. And you express the feeling. You speak from that person, from that border across you, that this is a line you don't cross. This is a behavior I don't appreciate. This is how it makes me feel. And then from there, coupled with other exercises where you write and you analyze yourself a little bit throughout the day, and you do a round of gratitude and other such things, all of that keeps you in a positive mood. So we have a question from Adva. How is a woman to express her basic needs and desires without nagging or being called a nag? If needs are not addressed and things, a partner not causes severe pain, major promises broken, blah, 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 blah. What does one to do? Okay, so this is exactly the question is basically, how is a woman to express her needs and desires without nagging? You don't need to nag. You need to have enough self-respect. Okay, I'll try to verbalize this. There is a process of coming together, right? Because when we're dating or seeing one another, or there is a process where we draw near one another emotionally, physically. When that comes more from the side of the woman, meaning she's the more proactive one, I tried clearly stating my needs, but they're ignored and not respected. Yeah, unfortunately, that's both you and his fault. It's not just one person. The reason is the moment you express your desires, your needs, and they're mocked or ignored or like shunned away, you immediately feel diminished. Your own respect for yourself drops. So what you have to do is you have to distance yourself, create distance, emotional, physical distance, some distance, to allow him to close the gap. Because there's nothing you can do, unfortunately, in this situation. He has to be the one to close the gap. Why? A man feels love only when he invests. So you often see guys who work on cars or have other hobbies. The more they invest their time and effort and concentration and overcoming themselves and doing, the more effort they invest, the more they care about something. That goes back to the male ego. If I just receive something without paying for it, I still believe, because of my nature, that I must have done something that I deserve it. Same thing with a woman. If I receive without having given something for it, without earning it, without earning the respect of a woman, without earning something, then I don't appreciate it. How is the gap closed? Sorry, lost the question. How is the gap closed? He said, I am not going to change. I changed. I changed. You didn't. He said, oh. I want you to get away from your personal situation and hear what I'm saying. You're very, I understand it's a very painful situation. It's not a good place to be in. Sure, of course. If, again, you're trying to prove something to somebody else, I'm getting upset with you right now. Not with you, but I'm just getting upset to the level of you're trying to prove yourself worthy to whom? Chantel, please.
Maybe I'm wrong, but something happens with me.
Mm-hmm.
That's my confusion. I need something and the person doesn't give me space or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I take it. I fulfill myself. I, for example, I need to make up. I'm 58 and I'm an old, not old woman that likes to be, that's my form. There's no food, sorry, because first it's me. And if he needs, maybe I'm ugly, but here in Mexico we eat at 2 p.m. And if he needs to eat at 12, he can start preparing because first it's me. I'm not sure if that's something wrong about what she's saying about the value we have, or I'm confused.
Can you clarify that for me, please? Because I didn't quite understand. You spoke about makeup and
About saying that we ask something and we don't receive it. I give it to myself. I'm not sure if I give my space. I give myself my value, my time. I'm not expecting someone to come and give it to me. If the
right.
person is fine with that, perfect. If not, it's his problem. I'm not sure about what Adva is asking, and I'm not waiting someone to fulfill myself. I do for myself what I need, what I deserve. I'm not
Right.
sure.
The challenge is that there are certain areas and in some cases many areas where I physically depend on him, on the spouse, you know, on certain areas. So you're absolutely right. The moment I see that type of attitude, look, air conditioner. When you set air conditioner to 75 degrees, the program makes sure that the room temperature is kept around 75 degrees. When it goes a little below 75, 72, 73, air conditioner turns off. When it goes a little at 74, 75, 76, air conditioner turns on. Our brain is the same way. When somebody treats me a certain way, I know the problem is not with that person, it's with me. And if he continuously treats me the same way, it's my problem. Why? Because something about myself allows that type of behavior to continue. And so I have to sit down and I have to look and I have to do a deep soul search and really understand myself. Do I really not value myself enough to allow that type of behavior towards me? Because low self-esteem in a woman is the biggest problem that will follow her for the entire life. Good. Now the question is, how do you raise your self-esteem? Because it's you know, it followed you a certain path in your life. Now you have to pick it up. So how do you pick it up? You pick it up by being as much as possible in the feeling of joy, of happiness, of love. That frequency, it heals you. It's the most natural for you to be in. To do things that make you feel good, whether it's reading a good book, whether it's listening to good music, whether it's doing yoga on the beach, whether it's whatever it is. It doesn't mean you have to go crazy and just go for 3 months to Aruba. Maybe it does. I don't know. Everybody does their own calculation in life, and of course, with their own responsibilities. But wherever you are, you can always find a little bit where you can add to make sure that you deposit a little bit of that good feeling into your soul, where you deposit a little bit of positivity into your soul. Why? Because because the way you feel about yourself signals to everybody else how they're gonna feel towards you. And this is where we depend on friends as well. You need to have friends that will support you, that will compliment you, that will make you feel good about yourself, that will show you that you're of value, that will support you in certain areas. What else? Yeah, all of these things. What's good for a man? So let's for example go back to the area of my needs aren't being met. Let's not talk about that specific situation of Adva, for example, but in general, I ask for something and it's being ignored. So there's also some level of understanding. We all have responsibilities and lives and things that get in the way. So a certain level of understanding is allowed. You can understand that he may have forgot, he may have missed it, he may have misheard, he may have been busy when I asked him, and so he didn't even register. So being understanding is crucially important. You don't want to attack, you don't want to blame, you don't want to make the other person feel like they intentionally didn't give you something, especially when it's a man. Doing that, some women would do that, and often it's subconscious. But these type of attacks on the man's personality or the man's intention, it also happens to keep him hostage. Because if he feels bad enough, then he's going to continuously look for ways to make me happy. And if he continuously looks for ways to make me happy, then, I know that at least he's thinking about me. But what it does is it creates resentment, it creates negativity that is then fostered in the guy. And eventually, because he doesn't get the reward, which is your appreciation, because everything that we do for you. We only have one thing that we need as men. That's it. We can go with the same pair of pants, with the same pair of t-shirt, with it. Like, we're so basic, it's not even funny. We literally don't need anything. So everything that we do, consciously or subconsciously, we do it for a certain level of recognition, of appreciation, of showing us that we have a purpose to live for. We've done something for you, let us know that you appreciate it. And that gives us more energy, more stimulus, more life to continue to do things for you. Let's see, any questions so far? I feel like we covered everything. We can just close the shop right now and I'll live happily ever after.
It's not completely. Oh, sorry, Diana. clear why men are spoiled if we love them unconditionally. But go on, Diane.
What? Go ahead.
I just wanted to say that all that you mentioned, it actually my relationship with my husband. I'm just recognize all this stuff, recognizing this. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and also, yeah, I need to how to say, I'm working on increasing my self-esteem, but I need more advices how it can be, of course. Yeah, I understood that actually, yes, if I maybe even I didn't want to allow it to do something towards me, but it was like subconsciously,
Subconsciously, yeah.
consciously, yeah, that basically I need just also subconsciously change attitude to myself somehow and
Mm-hmm.
to represent it, and it will help to my husband also to accept me like I am, new one, and yeah. So what this I need advices. If you teach
Advices.
us
Okay,
in
good. So
this
this is
way, I mean that it would be good.
good. So this is what we're
Maybe
doing.
some exercises or something like that. I don't know.
So Chantel, you mentioned we'll get into the exercises. This is I'm developing a group program for women. So this is a part of it is actually the mutual support and the exercises that you can take back and practice with your partner and then bring it back to the group, and it's actually going to be very fun. Hopefully it should be done in the following days. So we'll start seeing who's interested. But the confusion Chantel has about why you don't want to overgive, right? What did I mention? I said don't was it don't overgive, or was it about a woman needing to be loved and a man needs to be understood? It's about the understood. So the reason a man needs to be understood and a woman needs to be loved is a man needs to find it within himself to turn off his brain and just make sure that he does everything to make sure that his wife is happy. Against the feeling bad, against the, we have a lot of complaints in relationships. So you overcome it and you do things anyway. And you show to your wife, to your spouse, to your significant other, as a man, that she is your number one priority. When you show her that she is your number one priority in all situations, she feels secure, she feels cared for, she feels loved, and that feeling allows her to care back for him. Before that, she's always concerned about where are we going to cover this, or where are we going to cover that, or what is he doing when he's at work, or a lot. There's a lot of things that concern you. When he proves himself time and time again that he is there for you, and this is the love, it turns off the concern completely. You're at peace, and you're from that energy, you're able to, your house is just glowing, it's full of love, your relationship is full of love, because you're just like the sun, gentle but perfect. With a man, you have to understand him, you have to understand where to forgive him, you have to understand where to demand from him, you have to understand how to work with him, because sometimes we are, in some areas we're still a little bit like children, in some areas we still need to feel like we're grown, in other areas we need advice but we're not going to ask for it. And so the more you understand how a man's nature works, you'll know how to work with him, how to give him. If you just give blindly, that means you're giving the way you would like to feel love. That means you're treating him like a woman. and then he's turning into a woman, and that's the last thing you want, because you don't want another woman in your house, because then you will have to become the man. Because even in a gay relationship, energetically, one is a woman, another is a man, more masculine, more feminine, always. So you always want to make sure that you are as much in that energy of femininity to allow him to solve his own problem, to figure things out, to make sure that things are taken care of, because this is his area. This is how we grow as men. The only person that should get, and even then at early stages, infinite love is a child. It's a baby. You want to love him infinitely. Then if it's a boy especially, begins to grow up, he needs to be set obstacles, so he doesn't end up like a 30-year-old man who's still a 7-year-old boy. This is
I
that.
wanted to share one thing when you just mentioned that we need to understand men, how when we can forgive, how we can treat them. And I just mentioned that in my relationship, it was a big obstacle for me, like previous relationship that wasn't successful, and that all this emotional stress, and I like brought it in this relationship till, and it took a lot of time, while previous relationship emotions were just like calmed down, some kind of, and I could just start accepting my husband, like I'm with this person, not with my previous person, and with this emotions and this hurt that was before, but I'm just with new one, and I'm accepting him like he is, learning him. But it's still sometimes it's just I just catch myself that I didn't see him, but I was followed by my emotions again, like from previous one relationship. But this it helps, and like you told that we need to learn how to treat them. But if you teach us how to treat, how to understand men, this would be good.
Absolutely, and I can tell you even more. It doesn't matter how much I tell you and how much you know. You will have to still step on certain mistakes and learn from experience. But because we would have gone through certain things, it's already stored in there. So when something happens, you're like, okay, yes, it was a little blow up, a little fight, a little emotional outburst, whatever, but I know how to handle it. Or at least I know that we have a meeting, I can bring the question there. So things actually happen a lot faster for you. Because there is infinite amount of situations that, here you can tend it a little bit like this, here you can tend it a little bit like that. But overall, your emotional system, if you do the internal work as a woman, and your first job is to make sure that you bring yourself to the core of peace, love, and self-appreciation. And from that core, from that level of balance, any decision you make is the right decision. So if you want to have a fight from that level of peace and balance, because you understand that you need to have a fight right now to wake him up to certain action, then you have a fight, and that's okay. If you feel that you need to apologize from that level of peace and self-appreciation, then you apologize, and that's okay. The moment you, as a woman, exist in a place of lack, that something's missing, that you don't have a certain level of security, of confidence, that place of lack is then communicated in every single action that you do. Because you're trying to compensate, you're trying to grab it from somewhere, and that it manifests in that action. So if you have a fight, it's because you're trying to compensate for something that's missing. And so what happens is, usually that's the wrong action, because you're acting from a place of lack. Even if you're doing something nice, apologizing, but from a place of lack, because you feel that by apologizing, he will somehow be good to you, and it's gonna fill you back up. That could be the wrong thing to do, because you're acting from a place of deficiency. That's why monitoring your own state and making sure that as much as possible, you're at a state of peace, you're happy, you're well fed, you have everything that you need. You teach your man how to talk to you, how, through conversation. Oh, this is what I like, this is what I don't like. You talk about your desires, what you like, what you don't like, what you appreciate, what you don't appreciate, what kind of gifts. You're giving them idea to act when they need to. Yeah. All right, we have 5 minutes. What do you guys want to do? Everything's clear, I'm telling you. Philosophically, this is easy. Let's do a summary. How do you guys feel after this 50 minutes that we're together, 55 minutes? Let's do that. Not how you feel. What is the most impactful thing that you've heard today?
Well, for me, impacts me a lot the difference in between how a woman must feel to be like in peace. Now, all that you said about a man, that when he is caring about her, she's in the first of the list and all that, you simply feel completed, no? But how a man is not like that, no? That, well, I suppose we will learn, because now I only understand that I know when to say something, when to leave him, but yet I don't know when those different positions of a woman should be taken. But that impressed me a lot. Thank you, Alex.
For me, when you mentioned that, how to say that, the root, or maybe not root, but maybe root, yes, root of feeling of love, how men feel that he is loved, and how women feel that she is loved. I mean that when you told that men, when you're doing something, when you mentioned that women friendship is like merchandising, something like that, business, something, and his man is like, yeah, he's feeling like a king, and sometimes, yeah, I feel that it's irritated me, yeah, because I was like, I'm investing, and I was expecting that, yes, it will be like it's some kind, maybe like in a Bible written or something like that, you're investing and something you will receive back, but it's like I was expected, it didn't work. But in like when we moved forward, and it's like we learn also, we study some classes took with my husband, so it's changed a little bit. But you opened to me this, that it's actually like a cheese. So what I was expected, it's like it was a little bit my lack of knowledge how the nature of man created and how the nature of woman created. So, and it just helps to understand more them, not to be angry on them, but just understand what is where it came from, and work with that also. And if it's, we will have some exercises so we can apply later. Thank you.
Cool. Absolutely. Adva, I know you can't talk, but if you want to write something that appreciate the talking about tolerance, what one will tolerate. Also talking about coming from a place of lack versus not. Good. Thank you for sharing, Adva. Good. Thank you, ladies, for sharing. If you decide that, if you feel that a program like that, surrounded by other women and us going through a certain process together can be something beneficial to you, feel free to send me a message. And then if I feel that this is something that can help you, we can take it from there. Otherwise, you know, the group is open for any interaction. We're going to have more meetings like that. We'll take it from there. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Alex. Bye.